Well, hello BookTube, hello book friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel and another video. This is my weekly reading video, so what I've been reading in the past week or so, and it's been a busy week outside of reading, so I haven't read all that much, but I have read some things. So I will talk to you about those. I think at the end of last week's reading wrap-up video, I had started reading this book, which is Eye of the Red Tsar by Sam Eastland. And I think Sam Eastland is a pseudonym for somebody else, but I'm not 100% sure who that is. So you'll forgive me, and I haven't dug too deep because this is the first in a quite a long series, so I think I'll probably read that, and then if I can work out who the author is, maybe find some of his other books. And this is a crime series. It's set in, this book is set in sort of the early to mid 30s Russia, or Soviet Union as was, and it's split across two time periods. So there is one which is fairly close to the start of the Second World War, and there is another period which is at the kind of beginning stroke end of the Russian Revolution and the deposement of the Tsar by Lenin and consequently Stalin. So this the premise is started in, for the book, what is the modern period, so the later 30s, where Inspector Pekala, spelt Pekkala, so I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that, is imprisoned in a gulag in a forest in Siberia for his role in supporting the Tsar. Basically, before the Tsar fell, he was the Tsar's special investigator and would be sent off to investigate all sorts of crimes and so on behalf of the Tsar. And when the Tsar fell, he was imprisoned and put in a gulag. So there are flashbacks between that period and the period sort of gulag and post gulag. And essentially he is offered an opportunity for his freedom if he will investigate what are reports of what happened. The Tsar disappeared, so the Tsar was kind of put under house arrest and then disappeared, and it's not, nobody seems to know whether he escaped, was murdered and the body's disposed of, or what happened. And essentially there are bodies discovered which is, they believe, are the Tsar and his family, but nobody knows because nobody really at that time knew the Tsar well enough, apart from his special investigator. So the special investigator that is dispatched to investigate. I won't say much more about that than where it gets to. I think it's for a work of fiction. It's fairly historically accurate as far as I can tell, and I quite enjoyed it up until the last 20 or 30 pages, when there was a big reveal which let the book down a bit for me. I think it made sense the way the writer had tied up the plot, but there was a little bit of a kind of anomaly there that really bugged me. It might not bug anybody else, but it bugged me. And so I will read another of his books. I've got at least one more on my Kindle. So I will read another one. It hasn't put me off. It's just like, oh, why did you have to do that? I think, I don't know, maybe he was up against a page count or something, and or word count, and because I think another 100 pages or so, he could have tied it up differently, which would have made more sense to me. But yeah, it wasn't a bad book. I quite enjoyed it. It was quite a fun read. Bit dark at times, because of the kind of sort of subject, but whatever. And then another book well, I say book, it has only a short story, but it's been published in isolation, so it's not within a collection of short stories. It was an Amazon, what do they call their program? Amazon First Reads. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get an opportunity to read one of their upcoming releases before anybody else. So it was an Amazon First Reads, and it was by Lee Child, and it is called 11 Numbers. And as you can see, it is a short story. It's 50 pages. It deserved, I think, to be more. It had the promise. It had potential to be a full novel, but it works really well as a short story as well. It's essentially university mathematician in America goes to Russia to help break a secret code, and various you know various things happen. Let's put it that way. Again, I don't want to give too much away because it's very recently. I don't even know if it has actually been published yet, but because it's in their first reads program, so I don't want to give too much away. Excuse me, in case you read this. But yeah, it was okay, and it's what you'd expect from Lee Child. It kind of clips along at a fair pace. The university mathematician is not Jack Reacher, so if you're looking for that kind of the kind of action scenes where Jack Reacher beats everybody up and comes away without a scratch, you're going to be disappointed. But it was a good read. I think it would have, as I say, it would have deserved and maybe been better as a novella even, or a full length book, but it had more promise to it than just a short story. So we shall see. And then the final book that I've been reading. I've been reading The Count of Monte Cristo, and just as I am determined to read this, and I am enjoying it. I have to say, I really am enjoying it. And I think if I'd had more time last week, I would have read more. But let me just move my bookmark so you can see. So I am now that much of the way through. I'm counting the count, and I've read 158 pages in the last week, so I'm now at page 232 of, what did I say it was, 1,462 pages. So quite a way off, but I'm enjoying it. It's a good book. I would recommend it based on the 232 pages that I've read so far. So yeah, enjoying The Count of Monte Cristo. And that's where I am at the moment. I'm reading that. I've got a buddy read coming up, so I might get this to a point where it makes sense in the story just to pause, because I'm not sure that I can cope. The buddy read is The Lord of the Flies, which I'm reading with Debs at Rainer Read Stuff, and that starts a week's time, next Saturday. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to cope with The Lord of the Flies and The Count of Monte Cristo. But we'll see. You never know. I think it very much depends on how I find Lord of the Flies after 40-ish years of not having reread it. Anyway, if you have been, Thanks for watching, and I will speak to you again next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.